They don't have COVID, but they're sick.
Please, guys, if you do not feel well, just stay home. Don't do anything stupid. Don't get drunk in a bar and get COVID. Okay?
Get drunk in a bar and don't get COVID. That's the motto.
Bingo.
Yeah, get drunk in a bar and don't get COVID.
Or don't be
Some
like
CV
Sam
guest
Darnold and
spots.
get mono. Don't be like Sam Darnold and get mono, boys. It was my first kiss.
All right, we're ready. 10 seconds. Oh my God. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another week of HTF Bets. Week 1 of NFL is officially in the books, which means fantasy. We have stats. We're going to break that down. So we're going to talk about some NFL Week 1 and Week 2, fantasy, and, of course, some college football at the latter of the show. And we'll be giving you our surefire picks of the week. So stay with us because HTF Bets starts now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the best dressed sports show here at HTFN. Of course, this is HTF Bets. Joining me today are my loyal, sharp 2 co-hosts, Okayla Pena and Riley Shepard. So, Okayla, we're going to start with you. NFL Week 1. We finally had football for the first time in forever. Fans were rocking the stands. What were some of your biggest takeaways from NFL Week 1?
Well, I'll just say this. The Steelers' defense is the anchor that is going to be able to hopefully shield away our offense. I was surprised. I honestly thought we were going to get killed by the Bills, but TJ Watt is showing that you pick Aaron Donald as Defensive Player of the Year, he's going to take it personally. And I'll say this, that the Cardinals, they're the team to still kind of watch out for. What a game, what a performance by Kyler Murray. Chandler Jones, 5 sacks with 2 forced fumbles. Like I said, it's a battle in the MVP right now, as well as we're looking at the Wild Wild West. And I ain't even talking about Will Smith, baby. So I'm excited. The NFC and AFC West are going to be my favorite divisions out to watch for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bills and their performance against the Steelers was a huge surprise to me. However, Arizona, I expected that the whole time. If you watched last week's show, I said that Arizona would cover that spread.
And I told I told Grant they were going to kill him, and he did not listen to me because I told him Chandler Jones was going to put the clamps on Derrick Henry.
And he did. Riley, your biggest Week 1 takeaway from NFL?
Man, I just have to say, I am so happy for Jameis Winston. 5 touchdowns in Week 1. Look, we all knew he's always had the potential. He was the #1 pick for a reason. He's thrown 5,000 yards in a season before, but he needs to learn how to take care of the football. He also threw 30 interceptions that season. 5 touchdowns, only 148 yards. I mean, that's just wild. What a Week 1 to start NFL football.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to help when you have one of the best offensive minds.
That's absolutely true. The QB whisperer.
And yeah, you saw a very different Jameis Winston as far as his stat line compared to the past, where he's not getting 50 passes a game like he used to. So we're going to kick it over to our guest analyst for today, John Alfano, also dressed very sharp to match the host today. So John, what was your biggest takeaway from Week 1 NFL?
Honestly, the Seattle Seahawks, I thought they weren't going to be that good this year. I still had them as a playoff team, but I figured they'd be 3rd in the West. Now it looks like they're a competitor to even win the division. They had a very impressive win against the Indianapolis Colts. Really dominated the ball on offense. Tyler Lockett had a great day. And yeah, they'll be a team to watch in that very, very tight NFC West.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great day to have Tyler Lockett in fantasy, and a great day to be a Russell Wilson owner of fantasy as well. We know I love Russell Wilson. So we're going to get into this week now and kind of some of our predictions. We're going to pick one game and kind of break it down. I'm going to kick this one off because I said earlier how I was surprised with the Bills and Steelers game. This week, the Bills are going to be playing in Miami. They're only favored by 3.5 points currently.
That's odd.
Wow.
That's a little
Very odd, and I love it. This is the easiest bet of the week. I almost made this my surefire bet of the week. But Bills in Miami, who just got by the Patriots last week, who the Patriots they're a team of the past. You know, Mac Jones played pretty well. However, it's not going to be a Patriots team that we're used to.
Exactly.
But taking that, Josh Allen is going to get things going. That defense is going to figure themselves out. They're still going to be a top 10 defense in all of the league. So I have no doubt, I am completely confident that the Bills figure out their season starting right now, and they blow out Miami by at least 2 touchdowns, I'm going with.
It'll be the come-out party for Josh Allen like it was in week 2 of last year. I remember working that game, the weather delay, and then him just coming out and throwing these bombs to Diggs and Gabe Davis. Josh Allen plays well in Miami, and even if you're a fantasy owner of Josh Allen, you better be licking your chops, because I'm telling you right now, Josh Allen will be a top 3 quarterback at the end of fantasy by this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And even after the disappointing, you shouldn't be too scared by last week. And any Bills player that you have, really, that last week was a fluke for Buffalo. They're going to get back on track this week.
No, I agree. Josh Allen, it was a little shaky week 1, but my game of the week, which is going to be even bigger blowout, the battle of the rookie quarterbacks, Patriots and Jets. The spread is at 5.5. The Patriots are going to blow them out. Mac Jones was very impressive last week, and it wasn't not even just the stat sheet. He was making some difficult throws under pressure, and the Jets are going to get blown out. I'm saying 31-14.
I mean, let's just say this, Riley. I'm not expecting a blowout, but I mean, because if you look at the last couple matchups between the Jets and Patriots, it's actually been pretty close. Granted, it was, Adam Gase as head coach, but look, man, this ain't the same Patriots-Jets games where you're expecting the Jets to get absolute roadkill.
No.
I'm saying that this will be a closer game than this game might come down to the wire, honestly.
This is the season for the Patriots where in the past that's 2 wins. You're in the easiest division, in the previously easiest divisions in the NFL. You see the Jets, you got 2 wins in the season coming up.
True.
This year, as a Patriots fan, picking out the schedule and the wins and losses, I think that we might split with the Jets, and it kills me to say that.
Robert Saleh is doing a good job with the team, and it's a slow rise, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Zach Wilson looks pretty good. Corey Davis is showing that he's worth the money. The defense, they just need to get fixed. They lost Carl Lawson, so they need to find.
See, the thing is that Zach Wilson isn't bad. Zach Wilson is he's going to have a long career, but that O-line, 6 sacks last week. 6 sacks.
And you lose
Come
Mekhi
on.
Becton for the next
Right.
weeks.
And they are not going to be able to protect Zach Wilson. And he looked good in the second half. Like he almost completed the comeback. He almost brought them back down 16. But that O-line is the worst.
He's
worst in college.
already running
Honestly,
for his life.
it's as much sandpaper as my Steelers O-line.
Yeah.
Right.
So I want to go over to John. What do you think about the rookie quarterback matchup between Mac Jones and Zach Wilson?
I think the Patriots are going to win this contest. Mac Jones played really well last week. Didn't get the W, but he played well against a really good Miami defense. The Jets defense is not good, and I think he'll have an even better day against them, and he'll guide the Patriots to an easy win, I think, my final score prediction is 27-16 Patriots.
Even though this game is in New York, John, come on, man. Jets fans, they're going to be screaming, Fireman Ed. He'll be right back in there. It's been a long time since Jets fans have been in the building. They want to see some blood, and I think that home field advantage is going to be something that gives the Jets a little bit of the edge.
The Jets fans that are still out there, if there are any at this point, they will be rocking in New York this weekend against the Patriots. I'd expect it to be a good game. That's going to be all the time that we have for this segment on NFL, but stay with us. We're going to go to commercial really quick and come back. We're going to tell you about our HTF bets, or HTF Network Fantasy League that is going on now. Stay with us.
Here's the story of a show creator who was gearing up to form a bigger crew. One's a California guy,
a god of graphics.
One hosted Girls on Deck.
It's a story of a 4-year nightmare, which is finally coming to an end, thank God. And the new kid, a Packers lover.
Tampa forever. So then one day all these people work together to face a year unlike one that's ever been. And his group rebranded in Orlando. That's the way we all became HTFN. 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 That's the way we became HTFN. That's blasphemy!
Oh, it keeps coming back. We're gonna need to go away. Welcome to the HTF Hot Wings Challenge. One of you guys actually do hot sauce like regularly?
No.
No.
It's like the least black thing I do.
Oh, wow, okay.
I say Johnny goes first on this one.
I agree.
The Buccaneers are going to play the Washington football team today.
That can't happen.
It'll happen.
I'm terrified.
No, I really hate it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. You're wrong. If it wasn't for Kanye jumping up on stage and doing that, I'm going to let you finish, but no one would know what this was.
Nitro's a dump truck. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
Why is Nitro thick?
I don't know how many squats I need to do to get up like something like that, but I will do it.
Oh! Oh my God!
Baseball, obvious reasons. Babe Ruth, if you want to go currently. I feel like that's just like a thing.
he jumped off the wall to catch the home run. We made it through all the way to the end. Thank you for joining us.
I'm never doing this again.
It was rough.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to HTF Bets. Fantasy football, we've been saying it for the last couple of weeks, the best time of the year. Things are starting to get a little chirpy here at the HTFN studio. As we said last week, we have all of the hosts for all of our shows in the same league together. We are battling out to see who is the best. So I'm just going to run through the week 1 results very quickly of who won, who lost. So Johnny Jackson got the win over Caleb Burge. Austin Walker, our producer for HTF Bets, got the win over Alex Funderburke. Again, both these scores, both in 160 and 135, so maybe the bad week to have that matchup. Moving on, Kyle Dewitt hosted Nighttime, defeated Ross Bernstein. Hannah Joe defeats Okelo Pena. That was my favorite matchup of the week there. And then I had to take out my co-host, Riley Shepard. It was a good week. It was super exciting. This is the first week back since last season of fantasy football. So it's always exciting to see what's going to happen in week 1. But now that week 1 is over, it's the biggest, maybe what can win you your fantasy league is the ad drop. And with that, Riley is going to go through his top 5 ads to pick up on the waiver wire for this week after week 1.
Thank you, Tyler. And like you said, it does get a little chirpy. I'm a nice guy. I don't really trash talk that much. It's a long season. No reason to start talking trash week 1. 17 more weeks.
Exactly.
And so my number 1 ad this week, I picked him up. I sadly lost Gus Edwards for the season. Elijah Mitchell. He had 104 yards on 19 attempts, 1 touchdown. It was against the bad Lions defense, and he is going to start, maybe not get as many attempts per game now that he's going to start splitting reps with Troy Sermon, but he's going to be a key contributor in a heavy run offense for the 49ers. And number 2, Tony Jones. He had 50 yards on 11 carries, backing up Alvin Kamara. He's still going to be backing him up for the rest of the season, but he's not going to be he's going to be a good flex option to have if Kamara has a bad week.
False. Sorry, continue. Go on.
No. Just keep. I just want to sink in what Riley's thinking, because right now I'm just hearing a lot of hot garbage on a couple of things. So Riley, please continue and spiel us.
Number 3, now going to the receivers. I have Christian Kirk. He had 5 receptions, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns, caught all 5 attempts, caught all 5 targets. He wasn't on the field very often, so I expect him to have a pretty good breakout year in his 4th season. Number 2, another receiver, Tim Patrick, 39 yards, 4 receptions, and a touchdown. With Jerry Jeudy out at least 6 weeks, he's going to start getting a lot more targets. And finally, if you don't already have him as your backup QB, pick up Jameis Winston. Like I said earlier, he's shown that he has the potential. He has the arm. He learned a lot from Drew Brees last year and the QB whisperer, Sean Payton. He's a great backup quarterback to have.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with I'm going to pick on Tony Jones Jr. a little bit because
Tony Jones, yeah. Let's
because Okay, Kamara is obviously one of the most elite fantasy running backs in the league. He's going to get a majority. It's not like there's a split decision like there is in Indianapolis sometimes with
Nyheim Hines and Jonathan
Taylor. It is Kamara is the guy when he needs a breath. They're going to send in Jones. He's going to be a very Latavius Murray-esque player who he's okay. He's never someone that you're going to consistently start. He's going to be. I have just had 2 running backs go down. I need a running back that's gonna give me at least 5 points. He's
basically your Hail Mary player.
So what's wrong with a player like that? If you already have players out for the season, then what's wrong with picking up a guy like that?
Because why not pick up a Nyheim Hines who was on the waiver wire, who I picked up this week?
Or even pick up Latavius Murray himself. He just got a touchdown. I mean, granted, he's gonna split the backfield with what is it, Tyrell Williams, somebody like that. But at the end of the day, no. Like, look, Riley, not gonna lie, you had some good points a little bit. I mean, I like Tim Patrick now that Jerry Jeudy's gonna be out and Jameis, but everything else, man, is questionable. Like Christian Kirk, do you know that Kyler Murray has so many mouths to feed in that offense? He has so many mouths to feed. You got Rondale Moore, a rookie. You got DeAndre Hopkins. Tyler, you're right. The best receiver.
There it is.
The best receiver for week 1 because Stephon Diggs is going to bounce back. I promise you, and Alex, and I hope you're watching, I'm kicking your butt this week because Stephon Diggs is going to take it personally and run the clamps. And then in addition, you have A.J. Green and then all the other backs that they got over here, James Conner, Chase Edmonds. Like, Christian Kirk, he's one of those guys that just has those on and off games. He's one of Kyler Murray's favorite targets, but I'm not going to rely on him on a consistent basis until I see something more important.
Cliff Kingsbury is straight up said, I regret not using him more in the offense last year. He's going to be utilized a lot more. He had 2 of Kyler's 4 touchdowns, right? Like, he is a playmaker, and Kyler has gone out and said that, and it's his 4th year. He's an experienced wide receiver, and look, 70 yards, 5 receptions, all 5 targets.
I'm just not selling. I just don't see the hype. I just don't see the hype.
Well, whether it's been because of Christian Kirk, whether it's been too many mouths to feed, whether it's been because of the game plan, Christian Kirk has had this same exact week in the same exact situation every single season of fantasy football since his rookie year. He's had that 1 week where Christian Kirk is that guy. Since then, he's been a decent draft. He's in about 50% of leagues. He got drafted, but he's still out there a decent amount. But every single year is the same thing. He's going to have 2 good weeks this season. We just saw one. You're not going to get another two touchdown game from Christian Kirk at all the rest of this season.
Yeah, that's it. You maybe get it maybe one more time, but like I said, you're not going to get a touchdown every week or at least over 10 fantasy points with him.
And playing with DeAndre Hopkins, that is good for Christian Kirk because that's less attention on him, and that's where Okalo's point, where they just got a lot of people to feed on that offense, and Kyler can get the job done, but I would not use a top waiver spot on Christian Kirk. Just wouldn't do it.
No.
So moving on in fantasy, Okalo lost to Hannah Jo Groves.
Okay. Look. It's all Aaron Rodgers' fault. It's all Aaron Rodgers. You got me 1 point, but that's okay. That's okay. Let the jokes happen. Let 0-9 come back again. Because this week is going to be so much better for me. Because he's playing Riley's Lions, so I get to feast on that.
Right. And how did Russell Wilson do?
He did good.
He did have 28 fantasy points compared to Aaron Rodgers. One, I wish we could play back the tape from last week where I was saying that Rodgers.
We'll make sure to edit that in later.
Would be the better fantasy quarterback.
But you talk about trash talk. I hope everybody in HTF knows. Stop disrespecting me. It's just 1 week. My team gets better. It's part of the process. Okay, you have to trust the process, and I trust still my team. By the end of the season, will be a playoff team.
I'm calling it right now. You're right. You will not go 0-9. You're going to go 0-10, and you might not win a game this season. The best fantasy football.
If I come back next week, I want my restitution.
You know what the sad part is, too, is that Hannah Jo didn't even start Antonio Brown, and this is a family show, and she beat your you-know-what.
She did. She
beat your
you know what. The game would have been closer had Aaron Rodgers got me my points. I promise you. Hannah, congratulations. I'll have my revenge for you in week 10.
And it would have been
coming. I promise you.
Also, shout out Hannah Jo Groves for taking Gronk in the 5th round. That was something I was not expecting, and I thought that it was a foolish move. Gronk was one of the best tight ends. I think he might have finished number 1 overall and fantasy production as in the tight end spot. So maybe Hannah Jo had a strike a genius, and she might come out and beat all of us boys in this fantasy league. We'll keep you updated. We're going to show you our Week 2 matchups really quick. We have Johnny Jackson, executive producer of HTFN, going against Riley Shepard. Okelo will be taking on Alex Funderburke from the main show. Ross Bernstein will be going up against Kayla Burge. Kyle DeWitt will go against Hannah Joe this week. Watch out, Kyle. Hannah Joe, she'll sneak up on you. And finally, Austin Walker will be playing against myself. I'm very excited for that. Austin had a great week last week. I think my guys will have a better week moving forward. So that's going to be all for this segment of fantasy football, because I want to get into a little bit of our UCF night, going and playing the first Power 5 opponent, the only Power 5 opponent they'll play in the regular season this year.
For now.
And the first Power 5 opponent we'll play since we have agreed to join the Big 12. So, although it's not official yet that we are not there, we will be down the line. It's kind of like our first Power 5 versus Power 5 matchup. So, Kayla, what do you think? UCF is favored by 7 points in Louisville tomorrow night. What are your thoughts about that 7-point spread?
That is a lot of blasphemy that they're going to really let UCF only be a 7-point favorite. Last time I checked, Louisville got killed by Ole Miss by what, like 2+ touchdowns? Matt Corral had a field day against them. That Louisville defense stinks. Louisville hasn't been relevant since Lamar Jackson was a Heisman Trophy winner. Let's just be real. It's to me laughable that you're going to really consider UCF a 7-point favorite, and that's insulting towards intelligence, because I think UCF is going to be a 2-touchdown favorite, and I wouldn't be surprised if it almost turns into Bethune-Cookman. It won't necessarily, but I did call 63 points, so I'm going to say maybe UCF scores 45. We did kick their butt back in 2014, led us to the Fiesta Bowl win against Baylor. Why not let a little magic strike twice?
And a little bit different of an offense now than compared to 2014.
Right. 2013,
Blake Bortles running the show now to Dylan Gabriel, who we've seen has used his legs a lot more this season than he has in the past, and I give that direct credit to Gus Malzahn and Dylan Gabriel just maturing throughout his seasons with UCF. I think that 7-point spread, I am going to take it. I do think I think that UCF is that is a solid number. It is a scary number for me, because I have shown my confidence in UCF after last week, after playing a competitive team in Boise State, and how I don't know if we get as behind 21-0 against Louisville tomorrow night as we did to Boise State, I don't know if we will have the willpower to get back and come back on them.
But I don't even think we will get down in terms of that point.
I don't think so either. Yeah. I mean, I think Isaiah Bowser has shown that he is an elite running back. 4 touchdowns in the first half, I think. 4 touchdowns in the first half, right? And he didn't even surpass 100 yards. He was just running through that defense. Our defense does need to get better. We gave up 14 points, which, is still.
Shout out to you, Tyler.
Yeah,
you did
shout
call
out
it. But I did call the 63 points.
They weren't
so
garbage time touchdowns, but they did put up 14 on us. Our defense does need to get better, but I will also take the 7-point spread. Dylan Gabriel is going to have a big game on prime time, Friday night football, and I'm going to take UCF on the spread for sure.
Friday night lights, nothing but sold-out dates.
And you talked about the running attack of Isaiah Bowser, which I'm very curious to see how he had a great week versus Boise State, and obviously a tremendous week with 4 touchdowns, 1 off from the UCF record against Bethune-Cookman. I'm curious to see how he comes out and plays. The biggest rusher that I'm interested in seeing is Malik Cunningham, the quarterback for Louisville, because he is the definition of a dual threat quarterback, and I think that he has potential to really tear up the UCF defense. I don't think we've seen a runner of his caliber from the QB spot. So
probably it's because he has the last name Cunningham, and if we all know, there was an Eagles quarterback who wore that same number who was electric like that.
I agree. Him as a dual threat, it's a little scary going into it, but I think our front 4 is going to tear him up. I don't think our secondary does need to work, but I don't think they're really going to need to worry too much about it, and our front 4 is going to get to him very fast.
I think that Big Cat Brian is going to be he's kind of been. You kind of have to be at the games, I think, to see the impact that Big Cat Bryant has had. I think he goes way beyond his stats when it comes to his performance and whatnot. He has been the leader for the UCF defense, and I think this might be the game that he has his stats. So, last thing, surefire pick of the week. I'll start it off. I have Louisiana Lafayette minus 19.5 against Ohio. They're in Louisiana, going with the Raging Cajuns tonight at 8 p.m. I'm 2-0 in Surefire Picks of the Week. So
I'm 1-1. I went with the Chiefs last week. I'm going to go with the Chiefs again. They're going to clear the 4.5-point spread against the Ravens. The Ravens did not look good at all last week. Final score, 34-24.
And that's from 1-1 Riley. So Kayla, who did not get a victory last week, so he is still looking bad.
I'm going to do something that I never thought would come out of my mouth, and I'm glad that Jeff is here to hear this. So, Jeff, I have the Browns 8-point favorites against the Texans. Please expose them and let me get 1-1 to start it. I'm riding the Baker train. Let's go Browns.
All right.
I'm sorry to all the Steelers fans. I'm sorry. I just got a gut feeling this week.
Well,
we'll beat the Raiders, of course.
Let's see if that gut feeling will actually happen. As Okelo, as I said in the past, he has some really strong feelings, some good, some bad, some right, some wrong, mostly wrong. But we'll see.
Better than Charles Barkley. I guarantee.
Better than Charles Barkley, not as good as my 2-0 on Surefire Picks of the Week.
For now.
And it's a long season, but you know who to listen to at HTF Bet Surefire Pick of the Week. That's going to be all the time that we have for this week on HTF Bets. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. We have UCF playing at Louisville tomorrow night. That's going to be a great game to watch. We're going to cover it all, break it down next week. So join us next Thursday, the usual time, 12 o'clock, and we'll be here live giving you all of your betting needs. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Catch you later, knuckleheads.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap.